Acting Prime Minister Ahmet Davutoğlu has said he will push for the formation of a coalition government, as the probability of a snap election is estimated to be equally likely as the formation of a coalition, following the June 7 general election. Our present aim is to form a coalition government, Davutoğlu told reporters in response to a question about the likelihood of an early election. After receiving a mandate to form a government from the president, Davutoğlu, as head of the party with the highest number of deputies in parliament, is expected to begin a series of meetings with party leaders next week. Emphasizing that it would be disrespectful toward the people of Turkey to avoid efforts to form a coalition, Davutoğlu said, "The task the nation has entrusted us with is clear," a remark that refers to no single party having received enough votes to form a government in the general election. The ruling Justice and Development Party, AK Party, will play a central role in possible scenarios for a coalition government, as the three opposition parties represented in parliament have failed to form a coalition of their own because the Nationalist Movement Party, MHP, has rejected a role in any coalition that would include the pro-Kurdish People's Democratic Party, HDP. The most likely coalitions would be formed between the AK Party and the MHP, or between the AK Party and the main opposition Republican People's Party, CHP. However, an early election is also highly probable, as opposition parties have expressed preconditions that could be hard for the AK Party to accept. In response to reporters after paying a visit in Parliament to the ruling party's newly elected Parliament Speaker, Ahmet Yilmaz, Davutoğlu made his plans to meet with party leaders to discuss possible coalitions clear. He also noted that some predict the hopes for a coalition will be dashed in the first round of meetings. A total of 276 seats, representing an absolute majority in the 550-seat parliament, are required to form a government. The AK Party has 258 deputies, the CHP has 132 deputies, and the MHP and the HDP each have 80 deputies. The Burgun Daily quoted CHP Secretary General Gürsel Tekin on Friday as saying that the ruling AK Party could attempt to gain time, in moves to hold an early election in March of next year instead of in November. Taking the conditions the country is in into account, this would be a very backward attitude, said CHP Vice President Gürsel Tekin, who believes that the AK Party may forge a coalition with the MHP. The MHP has been much criticized by opposition parties for having indirectly paved the way for the recent election of the ruling party candidate as the Speaker of Parliament by casting invalid votes. According to a report in the Hurriyet Daily on Friday, the MHP acted in such a way because it and the ruling party had already almost agreed to form a coalition government. Some sources close to MHP leader Devlet Bahçeli have said that a consensus for a coalition has been 99% reached, the report said. Based on rumors in political circles that the election of the AK Party's Ahmet Yilmaz as parliamentary speaker is a result of this agreement, the report said that 3 people chosen by the MHP leader had been in talks over the past few weeks with AK Party officials. In the fourth and final round of voting for the position of speaker on Wednesday, Yilmaz was elected with 258 votes, a simple majority being enough to get elected in the final round by the 550-seat parliament. After the failure by opposition parties to agree on a joint candidate to run against the ruling party's candidate, the MHP cast invalid votes in Wednesday's final vote, clearing the way for Yilmaz to be elected. According to the Hurriyet report, the MHP's candidate, Ekmel Dinsinolu, is to be given the post of Deputy Prime Minister based on the agreement between the two parties. MHP leader Bahçeli will not take part in the government but will just continue with his work as party leader, the report said. President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan is expected to give AK Party chairman Davutoğlu a mandate to form a government early next week, following completion of the election of all members of the Speaker's Council in Parliament. If the MHP deputies had voted for Deniz Baykal, the candidate of the CHP in the runoff for Speaker, which was something many expected until the day of the election, the CHP's candidate could have beaten Yilmaz. Baykal received 182 votes in the final round thanks to the support of most deputies of the HDP, the other opposition party represented in Parliament. Although the CHP and HDP leaders accused the MHP of supporting the AK party by invalidating its votes, MHP leader Bosley dismissed the criticism, saying on his Facebook account, "We in the MHP don't need anybody's advice." A columnist writing in the Yenia Daily claimed on Friday that Bosley had expressed his party's concern about CHP candidate Baykal, who had to step down as CHP chairman in 2010 after it emerged that some sex tapes allegedly featuring Baykal might be released over the internet. The columnist claimed that Bosley told CHP leader Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu that sympathizers of the MHP would find the election of Baykal unacceptable. The CHP has dismissed the claim in Yenia. A statement released by the party's press office on Friday said, "The report is totally fanciful and baseless. No such meeting took place." According to the Hurriyet report, aside from some public institutions, the MHP and the AK party have already agreed how ministries will be divided in a coalition government. The report also said that Davutoğlu will visit other party leaders only for the sake of propriety, because his party has already struck a deal with the MHP. Furthermore, according to a report in the Tariff Daily on Friday, the MHP deliberately paved the way for the election of the ruling party's candidate as speaker after a secret meeting between an MHP deputy chairman and President Erdoğan following the general election. The report claimed that the MHP leader knew about the meeting at the presidential palace, even though Bosley recently vowed that he would dismiss from the party any MHP figure who went to the presidential palace to talk with Erdoğan after the election. According to the Tariff report, which is reportedly based on comments by officials from the MHP and the AK party, the MHP deputy chairman had a meeting for an hour and a half with Erdoğan at his palace after being invited by the president. During the meeting, Erdoğan made remarks about Baykal's candidacy that caused the MHP to conclude that Baykal was Erdoğan's preferred candidate. In a statement made following the election of the speaker to explain why the party did not offer its support to Baykal, the MHP said that the party did not allow Erdoğan's candidate to be elected. However, in yet another Tariff Daily report released on the same day, it was claimed that the MHP is to be given 5 additional ministries in the coalition cabinet in return for its support for the ruling party's speaker candidate. According to the report, which also said that the claim had not been confirmed by MHP officials, the MHP will allegedly get almost 10 ministries in a potential coalition with the AK party.